More now on the situation in Afghanistan with Republican Congressman Ted Budd of North Carolina. Congressman, thank you for taking time on this Labor Day Sunday. Let's go quickly to these comments from your colleague, Congressman McCall, alleging, and Fox has not independently confirmed this yet, but alleging that up in the north at that Mazar-e-Sharif airport, that as many as six planes with Americans and Afghan interpreters were being held essentially hostage by the Taliban. Your reaction?
This just highlights the absolute incompetence that we're seeing from the Biden administration and General Milley. I've asked General Milley to resign, including Secretary of State Blinken. We did not have to get into this. Let's realize that over the last 18 months, President Trump was in office, he had drawn down the troops from over 15,000 to around 2,500 without one chaotic incident and without loss of life. That's great leadership, but what we're seeing right now from Biden's administration is absolute incompetence. Nobody questions whether or not we should have been out, at least mostly out of Afghanistan, and brought an end to the war. And we're grateful for those who have served there. But you don't leave this way. Nobody's asking about whether we should be out, but they're saying that they came out the wrong way.
Congressman, the administration still sticking to that 100 to 200 Americans stranded. It is day 6 since the U.S. withdrawal, and the administration won't say if even a single American has gotten out since. Now, the comments earlier from the White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain on another network about that situation. Here's what he had to say. I want you to listen, and we'll get your reaction.
We know many of them have family members. Many of them want to stay, but the ones that want to leave, we're going to get them out. As the president said, what happened on August 31st is we transitioned from a military mission to a diplomatic mission to get the remaining Americans and the Afghan allies, the so-called SIVs, out of the country.
Sir, your thoughts on what you just heard from the Chief of Staff?
Yeah, just absolutely tragic. Look, they're relying on diplomatic measures to get Americans out of Afghanistan. They're trapped there. We should have never let military leave. We should have maintained control of multiple air bases so that we would have operational control of Afghanistan until everyone was out, at least citizens were, and non-combatants. But now we have diplomatic relations going through Doha, Qatar, and we can't even get directly there. So this is a position of weakness that the Biden administration has chosen, and it's tragic and it's irresponsible.
You may have seen the exclusive interview with our own Jennifer Griffin with General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. And in that interview, among things he said we can expect a reasonable expectation of al-Qaeda reconstituting amid some disorder, a possible civil war. Have we not thought this clearly through?
Well, it sure seems that way, or at least they're finally being slightly honest with the American people. Look, we knew that this would collapse, and they had cables saying so, that it would happen within hours of leaving. But they weren't honest with us, and they weren't honest with themselves. And now it's a position of American weakness, and that's never good for us, and it's never good for the world. The world is a safer place when America is strong, and that's certainly not what Biden's doing right now.
Are you aware of any over-the-horizon capabilities? There has been much discussion, but as you pointed out, in Doha, Qatar, that is where the Afghan diplomatic mission is now situated. We don't have any humans on the ground in Afghanistan. Are you aware of the over-horizon capabilities that we have in neighboring countries to Afghanistan rather than just the ones that are 7 to 8 hours away?
We're mostly right now having to rely on naval ships being in the area. And right now we don't have much on land to go by. It's long flights in. We don't have the ability to use the air bases, which, by the way, we have built and established over the last 20 years. And now we've lost complete control of them. Look, America has the capability to do anything it sets its mind to if it's focused and if it has reasonable plans. And right now, we're not seeing that from General Milley. We're not seeing that from the Biden administration. This is completely unforced error, and it's very irresponsible. But I do want to say thank you to those that have served over the last 20 years. Just realize that you have helped prevent terrorist attacks on American soil for over 20 years. And I'm grateful for your service. And for those families that didn't have their family member come home from Afghanistan, I'm grateful for you as well.
And just in the time we have left, quickly, you have supported an effort in Congress to award the 13 service members who bravely gave their lives to receive the Congressional Gold Medal. Where does that stand?
We're going to continue pushing that. That should not be a partisan issue, but we're seeing the House being shut down by Pelosi. She's not allowing the names of the recently deceased and killed in combat to be read. So this is completely irresponsible on the part of Nancy Pelosi, and we need to remember those. And there's no better way to do that than with a congressional gold medal.
I see you are critical of the speaker. Obviously, she is a Democrat. Let me ask you, just in the final moments here, is there hope for some bipartisan support in the wake of what has happened with the evacuation to look forward and try and do what we can to keep our nation safe from any future attacks?
These should not be partisan issues. Unfortunately, they have on the part of the speaker. There are many members that are very frustrated with her leadership, and understandably so. We're going to be reaching out to each and every one of them and doing what we can, regardless of party, to help our country, especially in regards to the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Congressman Ted Budd from North Carolina, thank you for taking time today. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
You too, Griff.